Talent, discipline, and longevity are very difficult traits to possess, yet Randy Johnson somehow found a way to have it all. The result, a seemingly unending and remarkable run at the top level of world baseball, a baseball career that will stand out in history for decades to come. Here's the story of Randy Johnson's unstoppable run in the MLB. The journey to greatness is hardly ever easy, and for Randy, it all started in the suburbs of California. Little did anyone know those were the formative years of an eventual superstar. Tall and talented, Johnson's first steps on the diamond. Born in the Walnut Creek suburbs of the San Francisco Bay Area, California, in September 1963, one could say Randy Johnson found out his calling on the baseball diamond quite early. His parents, Roland Charles Bud Johnson and Carol Hannah, encouraged his sporting talents, and by his earlier teenage years, he already possessed top skills in baseball and basketball. Frankly speaking, his rather lengthy height gave him a huge boost, particularly on the basketball court. Attending Livermore High School, Randy got to hone his talents both for baseball and basketball, becoming a star in both sports. You're probably wondering just how good was he? Well, check this out. At the peak of young Randy Johnson's powers, as a high school senior in 1982, he struck out an outstanding 121 batters in 66 innings. Impressive, but it gets better. In Randy's final high school start that same year, he completely flawed the opposing team and had a perfect game. Talk about bowing out in style. As soon as he finished high school, the Atlanta Braves made the bold move to select Randy in the 1982 MLB draft. But it wasn't just his time yet, so he declined the offer. Instead, he chose to play college basketball and baseball at the University of Southern California. Although he only played basketball for his first 2 years before completely focusing on baseball. Playing under legendary amateur coach Rod Dedew, with future fellow Major League Baseball legend Mark McGwire as a teammate, Randy developed his all-round play. And after his junior year, he was finally ready to make the big leap in the major leagues. Or so he thought. Because as it turned out, the majors required a lot more than just an intimidating physique, and Randy was about to find out. Into the mix, tumultuous early pro years for Randy. Having decided to declare for the 1985 MLB draft, Johnson was selected in the second round by the Montreal Expos. He was joining an elite list of players who all got their start in Montreal in the 1970s and 1980s, like Andre Dawson, Andres Galarraga, Tim Wallach, and Larry Walker. Only he didn't quite get the dream start he hoped for. After getting drafted, Randy had to take time in the minor leagues under the Expos organization. This saw him pitch for the Jamestown Expos, the West Palm Beach Expos, the Jacksonville Expos, and the Indianapolis Indians of the American Association in all a space of 3 years. His time in the minors showed perhaps his greatest strength, which was his dominating fastball. But they also showed his weakness, which was him sometimes finding it hard to control that fastball. He was getting into what should normally be his prime years, and he hadn't even gotten his MLB debut. Not quite the fairy tale story most MLB legends get, but Randy Johnson stayed grounded and disciplined. Eventually, just days after his 25th birthday, the opportunity came, and he was called upon by the Expos to make his major league debut against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Randy took the opportunity quite well, helping the Expos to a 9-4 victory with a 5-inning outing in which he gave up 2 runs with 5 strikeouts. Not bad. He continued with the Expos that season to post a record of 3-0 with a 242 earned run average in 4 games. However, 1989 wasn't as good for him as he slipped to a 0-4 mark with a 6.66 ERA in 7 games. Such an underwhelming record prompted the Expos to part ways with him in a trade with the Seattle Mariners involving 5 pitchers, bringing Mark Langston to Montreal. Upon joining the Mariners, Johnson managed to get in his stride and proceeded to lead the American League in walks for 3 consecutive seasons. He also got his first All-Star selection in 1990 having pitched a no-hitter that season, but he was still far from his peak. In fact, he suffered a number of disastrous games, like when he allowed 4 runs on 1 hit against the Milwaukee Brewers in 1991, a no-hitter against the Oakland Athletics a month later, and a 10-walk 4-inning start in 1992. Randy Johnson had reached his peak height of 6 feet and 7 inches, and he was already the tallest player in Major League Baseball history, hence the nickname the Big Unit. But he was still far from finding his control. A training session with eventual Hall of Famer Nolan Ryan, who was at the twilight of his career late in the 1992 season, helped a bit as Ryan counseled him to slightly tweak his delivery stance. But just as he was finally kicking off his career and tapping into the immense talent everyone knew he had, tragedy struck. Johnson lost his dad in the 1992 offseason to an aortic aneurysm. His father's death hit him so hard that he decided to quit baseball completely. And if not for his mother's convincing, 1992 might have been the last of Randy Johnson we ever saw in the MLB. But you know what they say, it's always darkest before dawn. Johnson somehow managed to turn the pain of losing his dad into fuel to get his career on the road, which marked a turning point in his career. Find Randy Johnson's story inspiring, make sure to hit that like button, and subscribe for more intriguing stories from the world of baseball. The ERA of the Big Unit, Randy Johnson's golden years. Coming back for the 1993 season, Randy Johnson was a man transformed. Immediately breaking out, he posted a 19-8 record, 3.24 ERA, his first of 6 300-plus strikeout seasons, 3.08, and became the first Seattle Mariners pitcher to reach 300 strikeouts in a single season, all in 1993. Randy got the first of 3 consecutive All-Star selections that season, was named strikeout leader for a second time, and retained the position for the next 2 seasons. Turns out Nolan Ryan's advice and the Mariners' trust in Randy paid off, and it was only going to get better from here on. 1995 was a particularly memorable season for Randy as well. He won his first of 5 American League Cy Young Awards with an 18-2 record, 2.48 ERA, and 294 strikeouts, and recorded a .900 winning percentage, which was the second highest in AL history. And also became the first regular starting pitcher in history to strike out more than a third of all batters faced. He also led the Mariners to a number of memorable victories that year, like a late-season comeback in the AL West 1-game playoff against the California Angels, in which he had 12 strikeouts, and a more dramatic comeback win against the Yankees in Game 5 of the ALDS series. Finally, he was becoming the Randy Johnson he had always been primed to be, with better control, a more deadly fastball combined with a devastating slider. Gradually, the Big Unit became one of the most renowned pitchers of his era. Diamond years with the Diamondbacks, the best of Randy Johnson. After getting his name in the conversation of the best pitchers in the league in 1995, an unfortunate injury-ridden 1996 season followed. Then another All-Star season in 1997, the Mariners going 8-20 and falling out of contention in 1998 marked the end of his time in Seattle. That was followed by a short stint with the Houston Astros before the Arizona Diamondbacks came calling in 1999 with a juicy 4-year contract, with an option for a 5th year for $52.4 million. Many saw Randy's move to Arizona as a wrong move, and frankly speaking, you can't really blame them for thinking so. Johnson was closing in on his late 30s, and the Diamondbacks franchise was only in their 2nd year as an expansion team. Surely Randy in the twilight of his career wasn't the right move, yeah? Well, that notion couldn't have been any more wrong. Randy Johnson's time in Arizona might just have been the best years of his career. He was named an MLB All-Star in all but one of those years. He won the Cy Young Award 4 consecutive years from 1999 till 2002, was the league's ERA leader in 1999, 2001, and 2002, and strikeout leader every year from 1999 till 2004, with the exclusion of just 2003 having spent most of the year injured. With the Diamondbacks signing Curt Schilling from the Philadelphia Phillies in July 2000, the two anchored the Diamondbacks rotation perfectly. How perfect? Well, perfect enough to win the franchise a World Series title in only their 4th year of existence and first appearance at the tournament. Johnson and Schilling performed at absolutely mind-boggling Franklin levels at the tournament, resulting in them sharing the World Series Most Valuable Player Award, the Babe Ruth Award, and getting named Sports Illustrated Magazine's 2001 Sportsman of the Year. It seemed pretty impossible to outdo such a season with the franchise, but individually, Johnson definitely outdid himself in 2002. We're talking about leading the National League in wins, ERA, and strikeouts. This earned him the Triple Crown, his fourth consecutive Cy Young and Warren Spahn Awards, and his fourth consecutive 300 strikeout season with the Diamondbacks. Injuries plagued his 2003 season, and Johnson wasn't quite the same after, but he managed to find a legendary highlight in 2004 when he pitched only the 17th perfect game in MLB history against the Atlanta Braves. He left Arizona for the New York Yankees between 2005 and 2006, made a fairy tale comeback to the Diamondbacks in 2007, spent a year and moved to the San Francisco Giants for a year before calling it a day on one of the most outstanding, long-lived careers of all time. 6 teams, 22 seasons, 303 wins, 166 losses, an ERA of 3.29, and 4,875 strikeouts. More than enough for a Seattle Mariners Hall of Fame induction. The retirement of his iconic number 51 jersey by the Arizona Diamondbacks, and an induction into the Baseball Hall of Fame in 2015 with a 97.3% vote in his first year of eligibility. One of the greatest ever pitchers and most iconic baseball players ever, Randy Johnson. If you enjoyed this video about Randy Johnson's unstoppable run in the MLB, check out the video on the screen now or the one we posted below, because we're sure you'll like that one too. Let us know in the comments if there's another baseball player whose journey you'd like us to cover. See you there.